All right. Well, I want to thank you for joining me for this recording. I'm going to be talking to you about the power of SNAP. And as we have been talking about SNAP, it is the super networking at an accelerated pace. So I'm about to share my screen with you at this present moment so that you'll be able to follow along. Again, to be able to SNAP is one of the items that when you do this on a consistent basis, it's just going to cause business to occur into your life. So just to remind you, this is just one lesson of the 10 must-dos to move it from here to there. So of course, different people are going to have different snaps that you're going to have. So the first thing I want to say before we even dive into the details of the snap is that you can have multiple snaps. So there's different things that you're going to need. Like for instance, to use me for an example, I have a snap that if I want to go and speak, if I'm looking for a speaking engagement, there should be a snap that I have towards that. The product that I'm moving or pushing, there should be a snap towards that. So really any place that's going to be your focus is where you're going to want your snap to be. So we've defined SNAP as super networking at an accelerated pace. Two things that it does. It's going to do multiple things, but the two most important things that you're going to use SNAP for is, number one, it will help you to attract your audience. Sometimes this is the place that most people struggle, and it becomes difficult for you to know who is my audience. So whatever your end result is, your final product, it has a specific end user in mind. Just as we went to the bookstore, there's different books that are inside of the bookstore for different sections. You have fiction, you have nonfiction, you have leadership and self-help books, you have cooking books, you have sports books, biographies, you have the magazine section. So yes, we are all in the bookstore, but the SNAP or the sections help to guide that end user to the right place. So it is with you and your SNAP. It attracts your audience. The second thing that it does is it advances whatever is important to you right now. Okay? It advances what's important to you right now. It causes your people to know what it is that you want them to know. Brings that seriousness to it. It brings that focus to that very place. So number one, it attracts your audience. Number two, it advances what's important. So now let's jump right into the SNAP. The SNAP has three sections. So in your notes here, I put the three sections in. We're going to go over each one, and then I'm going to conclude this by giving you a SNAP. And then from there, you should be able to start making your SNAP possible. Now, practice, 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 practice. Don't get frustrated at the beginning because it is a different way of us talking, but you have to practice this. You're going to have to be able to SNAP the same way. If I ask you your address, you know exactly what that is. That's how you're going to need to SNAP. So the three sections are, number one is based on the results of. Here's where you want to speak to the results. The most difficult part of SNAP for me was I was speaking to my process before. I would tell what I'm doing, where SNAP is you're speaking to the results. After you get to the right side of the equal sign, what happens because somebody did business with you? If you're teaching a course, what's the results of the course? If you're writing a book, what's the results that the reader can receive because they read the book? If you're trying to be hired for the job, what's the results of your employer having you on the team versus somebody else on the team? So when you think about the results, it is the differentiator. It is the reason why somebody does what they do. So you speak to the results, you leave out the how. This is not the time to go in depth on your detailed plan of action. You just want to tell me this is what's going to happen. That's step number one. Step number two to the SNAP is I'm looking for. So now that you told me the results, you're now telling me you're looking for this type of individual. So Maybe the top side, see it as your nouns. This next section, see it as your adjectives and your adverb. You are describing this person. Who are you looking for? The easiest way that I like to say is in this section, people should be raising their hands mentally. This is where you get the head nods. This is where you get people coming into agreement with you. The power of agreement happens right here at this section. So now I told you the results, but now I'm coming specifically down your road and I'm trying to hit you. Okay, if we were at the bowling alley, there's pins that are down the lane. You take the ball, your goal is not to put it in the gutter. Your goal is to put the ball on the lane in order for you to hit the pins. That is what's happening in this section. I'm looking for the more descriptive, the more clear, the more concise you are, the more hands get raised. Now remember, before you're going to get them to raise their hand, they're doing it mentally. They are actually saying, yes, ooh, that's me. I need this. I want this. You have to be assured of that before you move to step number 3. Step number 3 is the call to action. It's not good enough for us to say we have something good. It's not good enough for us to tell you we have something on sale. It's not good enough for us to tell what type of shoppers we want. We have to also bring you to a call to action. That's where the coupon says it expires at this point. Call to action drives responses. Right here, I need to pause for a second because I want to say, you don't want to be or have your personality wrapped up in your business, because during your SNAAP, you are going to get a response called no. And if no drives you back to your home or drives you back to frustration or drives you back to wanting to quit, then we need to do some self-development, because you are going to get no when you SNAAP. If you told me today that you were going to make me a sandwich and it was going to end with peanut butter and jelly, when you got to the end, I would say, no, thank you. And it's not because you don't make a good peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It's because I do not like peanut butter and jelly. Everyone that we SNAAP to does not want to do business with what our business is. And I can't let my personality get in the way of it, because if it does, it will cause me to be reluctant when I SNAAP. So what are the responses that I could receive? Number 1, because our ending's going to be, who do you know? Number 1, it's me. I need your service. That's the response you want. I know. So do I. Number 2, I don't know if that's for me right now, but I do know somebody that it's for. That's the second response. That is your referral. I want that one as well, because recommendations and referrals keep me in business long term. But the third response I might receive is, I just don't really think that I'm in for that right now. I got called the other night by somebody that met me a year ago, and they told me they wanted me to get on a call. Out of respect, I got on the call. 15 minutes into the call, I realized that this was just not for me. See, I struggled for early on that I wanted to say yes to everything. If you could tell me that someone was making money in it, I thought I could do it too. And I would say yes, but I would not work the plan. And so I got off the call, I sent them a text, and I gave them a response. Thank you for considering me, but this just was not for me. That person had an opportunity to either take that personally and get offended, or they could just receive the response for what the response is. And that was that I just wasn't ready to do that. And that's what they did. Sent me a nice cordial response back, and we moved down the road. You're going to get one of these responses, okay? You're going to get a yes, you're going to get a no, or you might get a not yet. Whatever the response is, I just want to ensure that your personality is not wrapped up in this response, because if it is, you are going to be reluctant and you will not SNAAP all the time. If you choose to snap occasionally, you'll only have an occasional amount of business. The more I snap, the more opportunities, the more engagement, the more chances I'm going to have to gain business. All right, I think I made that point pretty clear. So now let's go into giving you an example of a snap so that you can use this as just a framework of the snap. So let me tell you what my 90-day challenge snap is. Based on the results of the 90-day challenge, my clients receive clarity around their what and why, take massive action, and as a bonus, I provide a community of accountability. I'm looking for individuals who start and stop things, who procrastinate, who wait to do what they know they are designed to do. Who do you know that's ready to take action right now? So if we look at that, I told you the results. I told you what type of individuals I'm looking for, and then I brought you to the final point, and that was the call to action. So SNAP, it's powerful, it's concise. You should be able to do it in less than a minute. Hopefully you get to the point where you can do it less than 30, because here's what you're doing. If I'm in a networking event and I snap to somebody, if they're intrigued, they're going to ask me, tell me more. They have just given me an extension of time to tell them more about my business. That's when I can go into how I do it, the details of what I'm doing. I can go deeper into it, but I don't want to do that on the front side, because when you do, what people hear is blah, 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 and they're not paying attention. But when you do it from the time that they ask for it, they are now engaged because you have piqued their interest. You want to create through a snap the aroma, the smell that causes you to want to wait or cause you to want to eat right now, whatever it is that you are snapping. You can snap again in multiple places, multiple things, multiple times. Now, if you're going to use your snap on social media, my suggestion is you need to do it redundant. You need to do it over and over, repeat it, and you need to find different ways to incorporate it. So I incorporate snap in my post, but I need to keep doing it. I shouldn't snap on Monday, one snap, Tuesday, a different snap, Wednesday, a different one than that. We should snap on a consistent basis for something. Prime example, book launch. You should be snapping for your book launch. Masterclass, you should be snapping for your masterclass. Course, snapping for your course. You see what I'm saying? There ought to be consistency. We don't run one ad one day and totally a different ad the next. If you produce the consistency, you will get the click-throughs. The more click-throughs, the more opportunities for you to get your product to the people that you want it to. You're snapping with them in mind. Your verbiage should have them in mind. Everything should be aligned with that end result in mind. All right. So that, my friends, is our lesson on SNAP. Super networking at an accelerated pace. It will drive behavior if I do this accurately, consistently on a day-to-day basis. Be on the lookout for the next lesson.